Current trends. Current trends in business English teaching should be seen in the context of globalization, which has impacted all areas of human life. Its increased impact can be seen in the area of technology in the form of sophisticated developments. Then it has impacted the world economy and increased multiculturalism between different cultures of the world. It has increased and impacted the phenomena of migration and has led to internationalized education and business. All of these things have led to the acceptance of English as the global corporate language. More and more multinational companies like Renault, Samsung, and Nokia have mandated English to be the language, the functional language for their companies in order to facilitate communication and performance amongst the widely dispersed employees. The companies are adopting English not necessarily as a choice but as a need. Reasons for this status of English as a corporate language and as a standard is because of various reasons, one of which is the competitive pressure which the international companies are facing. So in order to communicate with a diverse range of customers, suppliers, and partners to buy and sell their products and services. And companies have experienced that there is limited growth if they fail to devise an appropriate language policy which incorporates English as the functional language. Because of this, the teaching approaches of business English have also undergone a massive change. Then another reason is the globalization of tasks and resources. When there are differences in language, it causes a bottleneck. We can call it a Tower of Babel, as it were, where geographically dispersed employees are supposed to work together to achieve corporate goals. And it has been seen that when people speak the same language, then it leads to better comprehension and quicker decision making by giving vital information. Another reason is the increased mergers and acquisitions which are happening across national boundaries. Negotiations regarding a merger or an acquisition are complicated even when both the sides are using the same language. Now, many of the nuances and the meanings of words are lost in interpretation and translation. Cross-cultural integration, as we know, is tricky as it is. So even when there is a common language, there are problems. But if there is a policy amongst the companies to have a single language, all employees and both the sides speaking the same language, then most of these problems can be tackled. Globalization in general and internet in particular have also led to changes in the employment patterns. More and more companies are now multicultural and they employ their employees from all across the world. This has necessitated a different and a pragmatic project-based approach to the teaching of business English so that commercial objectives can be achieved, commercial development can be achieved, and in order for the individual to be empowered. As Washerer says, the spread of world Englishes, changes in employment patterns, and the emergence of new technological literacies are mutually enforcing trends of world economy, and some common approaches can be adopted to respond properly to them. There are many obstacles when companies decide to change their policy to an all-English policy. A reason is that change always comes as a shock for most people, and no amount of preparation takes care of it. Then compliance is spotty. Employees would often revert back to speaking their mother tongue. It can entail the erosion of self-confidence of some of the employees who think that they would not be able to master the target language. As a consequence of which job security falters, employees would keep on resisting the new language policy, and as a result of which their performance would suffer. An adoptive framework can be adopted in order to change over to an all-English policy. Converting the primary language of business to English is not an easy task. There are several factors which can influence how this can be achieved. For example, first is employee buy-in, in which the employee sees the benefit of the changed language policy. And then the second is belief in capacity, their own confidence about their own capacity. So, a buy-in is the degree to which the employees believe that a single language will produce benefits not only for the company but also for themselves. And belief in their own capacity, the extent of their own capacity, confidence in their own capacity to master the target language. We can see here in this screenshot given by Neely that there can be 4 types of employee response when there is a change in the language policy. On the vertical side, we can see that there is a weak buy-in, and then there is a strong buy-in, and then there is a low belief and a high belief. Several strategies can be used to boost belief. Opportunities can be offered to the employees to gain experience with the target language through education, through training, or through visits abroad to the areas in which the target language is spoken. Then to foster positive attitudes. Attitudes are contagious, and employees can quickly adopt attitudes of their colleagues. Verbal persuasion is very important to keep on telling the employees that they can master the target language. Encouraging good study habits by giving them training through expert teachers, and improving the employee buy-in. Because of globalization, approaches to teaching business English should focus on the lexis and not the structure and grammar of English. Vocabulary is more important. Specialized vocabulary should be taught. The use of technology should also be incorporated into business English teaching programs, as well as an important component should be teaching the cultural awareness to business English learners.